Hello, Intectivists. Today we're going to be talking about charting and a little bit of stock news. I know the Fed did not raise rates at all, so that's great. The stock market's loving that quite a bit. So let's go ahead and go through some things. So on the CNN Fear and Greed Index, we're at fear. So we've definitely moved up quite a bit. It seems like the markets is taking a breath right now of relief. And even if you go to the MMRI, we're out of extreme risk. We are at high risk, which still is not that great. We're still at high risk. But at least we're out of extreme risk now. If you go to the S&P 500 heat map, everything did great this week. Like, there's very few things that lost. So we did really good this week. Didn't really matter what stock you picked unless you shorted the market. All right, on to some charts. Let's go. So this is a gold chart. If you look here, we're above the 200-day, which is great. We're above the 50-day. We're above the 20 EMA, but we are coming off of overbought territory, so we're kind of trying to work that off. We're probably going to go on a sideways burnout for a little bit just to get that RSI to start coming down. Or we may retest that 200-day. And also, it looks like the MACD is wanting to revert right now, but we shall see what happens. This also looks like a bearish ascending wedge as well. So definitely be cautious with gold right now and jumping in. I would wait until at least we retest the 200-day if we do end up doing that. Moving on to the SPY index. So if we go here, what I've noticed is that the head and shoulders pattern did play out kind of. It went down to as low as 409.17, and this was projected to go to about 405. So we were really close on the head and shoulders pattern, and it did play out, and as soon as it played out, it popped up. And yeah, that's why you want to take profits earlier. And you don't want to wait for things to completely play out, because sometimes people front run the play, and that's what happened here. People front ran the play. Look how oversold it got on the RSI. It was at 25. People said, all right, enough of this, and they just started buying it. Now it's above the 200-day. It's above the 20 EMA, and even above the 50, and the MACD inverted. So the SPY right now is actually really bullish. And if you go ahead and take a look at the volume of SPY, you can definitely see that there are really good volume strength right here. And so people are probably going to buy a lot of this up. And then you have even more volume strength up here at like 450. So it seems like things are turning around. And the RSI is not overbought yet. So I have a sneaking suspicion that we'll probably get up to 450. And I know that's going to blow the minds of lots of people. They're going to be like, wow, we just moved up really high. So I would not be shorting the S&P 500. And would I buy into the S&P 500? I mean, I can see it. I can see if people want to buy into it. Yeah, sure. Once again, I prefer selling options. But hey, All right, moving on to Verizon. So there's a doji candle that closed right above the 200-day moving average. Now, we're also overbought on the RSI, so I have a very strong suspicion that we're going to come plummeting down. We might retest off this blue bar here, which was resistance and now support. But we'll see how this works out. Verizon's been doing really well lately. The volume on Verizon, if it can squeeze out another dollar gain, there is a lot of good support right up here. So it needs to rise up about $1 to go hit some pretty amazing good buying volume. It's right there. It does look like the RSI is losing some strength. I would be very concerned right now about it. We also kind of have a tiny bearish ascending triangle forming. I'm not going to draw that for you guys, but it kind of looks like it. It looks a little better if I got rid of the price action though. Yeah, if you drew it, you can kind of see it a little bit. So yes, so Verizon probably gonna retest the blue line like right about here where it was at, or it's gonna go hit the 20 EMA and start going up. But there is still lots of bullish fundamentals with Verizon as of right now. Silver right here, I drew this for you guys. Right, so typically it's 1, 2, 3 bounces, 1, 2, 3 bounces, and people either say more, like 1, 2, 3 more, like more price, higher price, or 1, 2, 3 floor, depends on if it's tapping the 200-day, like tapping this way, it's 1, 2, 3 floor, but since it's tapping this way, it's 1, 2, 3 more. So wait for this to tap again somewhere around here, and if we get that fourth tap, we should break it. I mean, the RSI isn't really overbought at all or oversold at all on the silver. It did reverse, but then went back down again. But I have a feeling that we're going to go up and break the 200-day, and the only questionable thing is that the 200-day is flattening here. That's something you don't really want to see. You want to see it upsloping, but that's okay. It has to start from somewhere, so we will see. And the good news is we're above the 50-day moving average, and so I just think what's going on right now is that we had this bearish ascending wedge, and now we're just kind of working off steam, and that's what's going on right now because 200 days acting as resistance. So we're just going to keep tapping it until the fourth one, and I think we're going to go break it then. And on to crypto's eyes. I know it's bright, I'm sorry. So we are not in Bitcoin season, but we're also not in altcoin season. We're at 31. Cronus has been doing amazing recently, and they've really skyrocketed whenever I've been accumulating all up in these zones. We destroyed the 200-day. We're way above the 200-day. We're way above the 50. We're way above the 20 EMA. We were into overbought territories on the RSI. We're working that off right now. I wouldn't really chase here, honestly. That green line, though, we're still like 5 cents from getting there. But however, if you go ahead and turn on volume, we're fighting through this red sell pressure right now. But once we bust through that, if we can make it to 7.5 cents, we're gonna start seeing Cronus rise. And then if we can make it to 9 cents or higher, we're really gonna see Cronus take off. Like, it's going to take off. And then it's gonna probably drive us up to 11.5 cents. So we just need to go and just ride all this up, and we don't want to see Cronus drop back down, and we don't want to see it drop even further back into this triangle to retest. There really was no retesting on these triangles. It just broke out. It might have retested a little bit, but then it just kind of kept on going. So we might not see a retest on this triangle pattern, which is fine. I am bullish on Cronus right now, but you're going to probably want to wait until we work off some of this RSI pressure here. We could probably bounce back to the 200-day and, hit 6 cents again and then take off from there. That would be really good, really healthy, or even hit the 20 EMA. That would be great. The MACD is really high up. Look at the MACD and how high it is. It hasn't been this high on the MACD since January. So it's been a while since it's been this bullish. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know. Bye.